G'day everyone and welcome to our final episode. Can you believe that? After 22 weeks of Tassie Rules Tasmania's footy show, we thank everyone that has been a part of this show this year. We have had huge viewer numbers, averaging around 20,000 every week. So we're growing and we're all there for community football, and it's great to have you all on board. It is grand final week in the NTFA and also the SFL. So we'll be covering both of those competitions this week on the show. But before we do that, every week, as we do always, with thanks to our great friends at Little Rivers Brewing Company, we check out the best photos with thanks to the Crafty Cuts range. All right, thanks very much to the Little Rivers Brewing Company for being with us once again this year in season 2024. A little bit different this week. We are going to show you our winning entry for the week, but we thought we'd show you, being our last show, some of the best photos that we've got throughout the course of season 2024, just to jog your memory and bring up a few of the best. So let's have a look at them. And this first one here, check this one out. This was way back, I think this might have been week one of the show. That is Dakota Fraser from Signet there, upside down, doing a headstand and whilst being tackled as well. Came out of it okay, but great photo picked up there from David Clark. So thanks for David, great support of the show throughout the season as well. The Oatlands District Football Association. This is one of the more unique football grounds. Look at that. That is the Mount Pleasant Football Ground, and Nick Finlay took that photo from on top of the hill in the absolute middle of nowhere. There you can see the footy ground and the cars around it. So that was an absolute beauty. So thanks to Nick for sending that in. And Mallory Shipper sent us in this one from the NTJFA. What a great action photo taken by Rachel Williams. This game here, that is Will Shipper. They're about to do a pretty spectacular overhead kick there from the Bulldogs. That's down at Windsor Park. Now, Brad Moylan, 17 years of age, from the Bridgenorth Football Club. Look at this photo that he took. This is Marbior Chol in the game against the GWS Giants a little bit earlier this season at UTAS Stadium. Absolutely spectacular photo. We've seen it on the AFL sites, and he's done a lot of work with the Hawks this year as well. Very talented photographer and getting an absolute beauty of a shot there of Chol. Just quietly, let's hope he does that on Friday night as well to send the Mighty Hawks into the prelim next week. So thanks to Brad. Our winning photo for this week, though, was sent in by one of our regulars as well, and that's Anna Cornish, who sent us in this from the SFL Women's Grand Finals last week at beautiful North Hobart Oval. This is the Oz Kickers about to come on and play their game at half-time in the SFLW game. So thanks to Anna for sending us in that photo and winning our photo of the week with thanks to the Little Rivers Brewing Company. All right, it is time for a break. We're going to focus on our clubs playing off in the NTFA Premier Division Grand Final this Saturday. It is, of course, South Launceston and Longford. We'll have a couple of guests with us next.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Welcome back. Great to have your company on our final show for 2024. And now thanks to Harrison Agents, it's not our club in focus, but clubs in focus. It is the Premier Division Grand Final of the NTFA this Saturday at UTAS Stadium. And it is going to be, well, it's the final Premier Division Grand Finals. We go to a new look Premier League next year. South Launceston are going to be taking on Longford for the big prize. This trophy, magnificent trophy that'll be awarded sometime around about 6 p.m. on Saturday evening. So we thought we'd get a couple of the guys to come in and join us in the studio, which they've been good enough to do. We've got Cody Lowe joining us as South Launceston Vice Captain and also MVP. Good to see you, Cody. Welcome.
You too, Rick. Good to see you.
And the skipper from the Longford Footy Club, Casey Curtis, also coming. G'day, boys.
Cheers, Rick.
And beautiful day too, isn't it? And hopefully it's going to be a little bit like this on Saturday. Cody, we saw you a few weeks ago, obviously taking out the MVP with thanks to Bogues. But You guys have had the week off. Of course, that game a fortnight ago against your opponents tomorrow in Longford. It was a terrible day, weather-wise.
Yep, sure.
You would have been glad to probably get that week off. It would have been very beneficial after a pretty heavy track.
Yep, yeah, definitely. It was got real heavy towards the late of the game there, and yeah, no, it was good. Definitely good to have the week off. So yeah, we were into it on Saturday, had a training session, but yeah, definitely nothing like playing a game. So yeah, we're good.
You beat Longford a couple of weeks ago. Really, probably set up in that first quarter. It was, it was a very windy day, and you built up a pretty good lead in that first term. How much confidence do you take out of that, knowing that you've beat him just a couple of weeks ago?
You take a little bit of confidence into it, but it's a grand final, so anything can happen. It's a different game. They'll be a different side, so it'll be a good contest for sure.
Casey, it was always going to be a tough game last week as well against the other Tigers in Rochalee and the reigning premiers as well, and some star-studded players in that team. How did you approach the game after, losing that second semi and knowing that this was a knockout?
We just try to pick ourselves up after that loss, which was pretty tough. Obviously, getting beat the way we did, and to try and move on as quick as we possibly could, recover. The bodies were sort of a little bit sore, but we try to recover well, move on, and we always know we had a massive rivalry with Rochalee over the last 5 years. They're a fantastic club and they're fierce competitors, so we just had to really move on quickly and just try and attack early. We wanted to get the score on the board early. There was a bit of wind again. Just try to win the toss and go with it, and we felt like we played well for 3 quarters, and they're always going to come.
They came home with a wet sail, didn't they? For those not aware, it was 2 points in the end in an absolute cracker. But having that advantage, I mean, obviously with the later position as well, getting that home game and obviously having some great support out there must have helped.
Yeah, the home crowd always helps, especially on that hill there. The twos get around it as well, and the atmosphere out of that ground's fantastic. So yeah, no, we enjoyed it.
Cody, last premiership for the club, senior premiership at least anyway, was back in 2018. So it's been a while, 6 years. That was a great period for the club, 4 premierships in 5 years. Has it been much of a focus over the last fortnight or so? Because, I mean, you've got the reserves and, of course, also the under-18s playing off in the grand final. I mean, the club's in a great position. So has that been spoken about a lot in terms of how much depth you've got?
It has been spoken about, but a big thing that we've all come to agree on, we actually haven't achieved anything yet. None of us have won a premiership. We haven't all won 3 premierships. So we're going to go out there Saturday, and then hopefully we get the rewards on Saturday.
Casey, you guys, of course, won the premiership there after a huge drought. I think it was 1989 was your previous senior premiership. So you're very familiar with UTAS Stadium and what it takes to win out there. Where do you see your strengths on a big ground such as UTAS?
I think we base the way we play on fast movement, but also a bit of tempo as well. So I think with our foot skills and the way we rebound from our back 50 will really help us. And our game plan hasn't changed a whole hell of a lot over the last few years. We've had to keep the core group together. So I think there's like 16 or so from that flag that are playing on the weekend. So we'll back the way we play, but also our contested footy as well. We try to keep a good balance. So
how significant is the in of Larby, big Larby coming back into the side as well in recent times? That must be a big inclusion for you guys.
He will definitely help us out against this guy on the weekend, and along with Deegan Madden as well.
Yep.
So 2 massive in for us. Larbs is just a large-in-life character for us, and we're absolutely stoked to get him back out with us. He's a cult figure at our club, and he's an absolute beauty. And as far as Deegan as well, he's had a fantastic year for us in his first year at the club, senior footy for us. And I reckon he'll go very well in our best and fairest. So I'm just glad he's got to be a part of it.
How important do you think that contest is? I mean, he's a great fella and he'll be a great opponent for you. I mean, you've had a dominant season, Cody, of course, winning the MVP, as we said before, but it's going to be an important battle in the midfield because both sides are very strong in that department.
Yep, definitely. It all starts at the source, so it'll be a good game, good contested game, so looking forward to it.
And the importance of someone like a Jay Blackberry coming in and being this on-field leader, and he just seems like a general down there as well. I mean, how influential is he on and off the field?
Yeah, on the field, he's next level. The way he sees the game is just next to none sort of thing. And definitely going in on Tuesday night in the last few weeks, he's someone you want to listen to because he's been there and done it before. So it's been good to have him around for sure.
It's going to be a great day, and congratulations on the seasons that you guys have had. Well, let's have a look at the schedule coming up because it is a big day. The under-18s are going to kick us off, and that is at 8:45. South Launceston are going to be taking on Bridgenorth. That'll be followed by the Premier Division Women's Grand Final between Bridgenorth and Old Launcestonians. We'll look at that a little bit later on in the show. That's at 10:55, followed by the Reserves Grand Final, South Launceston and Longford, who will also play off, of course, in the seniors. That is at 3:30 p.m. There are still some early bird tickets available, but tickets will be available at the gate on the day at UTAS Stadium. Boys, thanks for coming in. We wish you well Saturday. Let's hope the weather's like it is today, as long as we don't get weather like we did a couple of weeks ago. But we wish you well.
Thanks,
Cody, Casey, good to have
mate.
you with us, and all the best.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
All right, South Launceston and Longford, they're going to be doing battle this Saturday at UTAS Stadium. We hope to see plenty of you there. We will be providing a live telecast. We'll be calling that game for you. So if you can't get there, you'll be able to tune in and watch it either on the NTFA Facebook page or also right here where you're watching the show now. Quick break and we'll come back and we'll have a look at the women's grand final with thanks to Cleanaway next.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
And with thanks to our great friends at Cleanaway, we're back with our women's segment. Well, what an instalment are we going to have this week when these two clubs who have become great rivals over recent years, Bridgenorth and Old Launcestonians, are meeting in the NTFA Premier Division Women's Grand Final. They'll be playing for this cup on the magnificent UTAS Stadium, and it is a great pleasure to have the, newly crowned MVP in the NTFA Women's, Jenna Griffiths. And how good is it to have our co-host back? You might remember Abby Green, the coach of Old Launcestonians, joined. It's just nice to see you both. How are we?
Good, very, very good.
Excellent.
Yeah, good, Rick. Thank you.
Good. Jenna, for you, it's been an interesting season, hasn't it? I mean, last couple of weeks ago, of course, played that game out at Youngtown where the weather was just horrendous.
Yep.
How's everyone recovered, I guess, and particularly, looking ahead now to this Saturday, because it's a big ground and the weather's going to be a whole lot different.
Yeah, no, we're in a really good headspace. We're looking pretty positive. Had some good training, so yeah, we're keen. We're keen to hit the big stage. We're keen to see what UTAS can do for us as well. Obviously, being a bigger ground, yeah.
Last year, so we probably don't want to focus too much on that, but you had an outstanding year nonetheless because you were undefeated but came up short in the grand final. This year, you've lost just the one game. Has that been a focus at all about trying to, redeem, I guess, to a degree, but to get that premiership as well? Has Bobby Beams focused much on that, or more so than now?
We've definitely used it as a bit of a guide to this season, but we didn't want to focus on it too much. We took out what we need to improve on and taken into this season, which I think we've done well. Yeah, and we've executed well this season as well. Obviously having that one loss, but probably benefited us in the end. We needed to have that little check-up. So, yeah, it was good. So, yeah, we're looking forward to see what we can bring on Saturday. Yeah.
Abby, reigning premiers, again, another great year. But this rivalry that you've got with Bridgenorth, it's just great football every time your two teams come together. But what's this week been like in preparation for another grand final?
Look, I wouldn't say it's too different to any other years, but for me, it's more so that the girls just enjoy themselves. It's really special to make a grand final, and I know some of the girls have made 5 in a row, but you never know when you're going to get that chance again. So from my point of view, as long as those girls are happy and they enjoy the moment, they enjoy the build-up, then I know I've done a good coaching job because, yeah, they deserve to be there and they're a good bunch of girls.
You beat the Parrots. Their only loss for the season was back in round 10 to you guys as well, and, of course, winning the grand final last year. someone who's obviously been in the AFLW system, how have you seen the Premier Division with the women? Because you guys, it just seems to be improving every single year. Have you noticed that?
Yep. So I was actually discussing this earlier. Coming home 3 years ago, just the progression over the past 3 years. We have lost to every person on the ladder this year, and that means that the competition is going strong. It's balanced itself out. So, yeah, it is a tough competition, and the way that the girls have evolved and where they're sitting at now, they're doing very, very well in terms of their clubs.
Jenna, you guys have got stars all over the park, and both clubs very well represented with the rep team this year as well. What's the key for you guys as you go onto the big ground at UTAS Stadium this week?
Oh, I think it's pretty obvious, using that space, using that width. It's a wide ground, so yeah, putting an advantage to our runners, and yeah, taking speed, taking ground. But also holding out and having structure is what we're going into this weekend with, I think. Yeah.
Thanks, Jenna. I'll listen to that. I'll get on board.
I wonder how much the coach is going to give away. What's the key for your girls, Abby?
Look, honestly, by going off what you've just said, it's going to be a very similar game style. UTAS is huge, so don't want to burn yourself out, and yeah, just make most of running, and yeah, honestly, utilise your subs. So. Yeah, we'll go from there.
We'll look at the schedule with the times because I think you guys are playing. Is it 10:55? I think is the game. There it is on the screen. Yes, it is 10:55. So we've got the under-18s at 8:45. Will kick off the Dew. There will be a bit of that because it's going to be a pretty chilly day. I think 12 degrees on Saturday, but 5 to 11. There's not going to be as much wind around as a couple of weeks ago as well. But this is obviously also the last season before everything changes. We've got the State League is going, and so the Premier Division as it currently stands, this is the final one. So there must be a lot of motivation for, I mean, you two, the best two teams going around for some time as well. So a little bit of emotion there as well, I guess, in terms of obviously next year, but more so focused on let's get this grand final out of the way and see who the best is.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll see what happens next year and what it brings. But yeah, focus out this year, see what we can do. Yeah.
Abby?
Yeah, look, it's been draining trying to not think into it as much. Yeah, look, I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, it's been challenging trying to process it all. But at the end of the day, just like Jen said, you got to focus on this week, this season, be strong for those girls, and yeah, just get through this week, and then we can look at next year.
Yep, enjoy the off season first of all. But look, it's going to be a cracker. Bridge North are taking on Old Launcestonians. Another great instalment, another great chapter in this grand final. Playing for the Premiership Cup at UTAS Stadium. Ladies, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And well done on what you're each individually doing for your teams as well, on and off the park. And can't wait for Saturday. Looking forward to calling it.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, joined by Abby Green and Jenna Griffiths joining us. A couple of the stars of the NTFA Women's Premier Division. It is time for a break. When we come back, James Wiggins is going to join us to tell us about a very special football event coming up at Blue Gum Park. It's Relive the Rivalry. That's next.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
HST Tree Specialists. We are the industry leaders in vegetation management in Tasmania. Our services include tree solutions, hazardous vegetation removal, and project consultations. We are committed to eliminating vegetation-based risk in Tasmania while being sensitive to environmental impact, with a strong focus on health and safety practices. And from large-scale government and commercial projects, small private arboriculture jobs, and equipment hire, MyTas recommends HST.
With thanks to HST Tree Services, it is time for football news from right around Tasmania. Now, this is a fantastic event that is happening. It is coming up on Saturday, the 5th of October. No excuses for no one to be there because the local footy is well and truly finished. Relive the Rivalry is back. It is the 11th edition coming up in 2024. And this year, well, it's going to be played on Saturday, the 5th of October. First bounce is at 1:30 p.m. Who's going to play? What's it all about? Well, we're going to be joined now by their founder of this fabulous event. It is James Wiggins who joins us now on the line. Great to have you with us, Wiggo. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for having me on the show.
Pleasure. Hard to believe this is the 11th edition, but what's really exciting for people wherever they might be in Tasmania, because I'd encourage everyone to come up to Blue Gum Park, which is in Georgetown. I actually reckon this is the best football surface in Tasmania. I went there soon after they made the official opening of it, and there is no better surface. And how much of a part did that have to play, I guess, in the decision to go there, but also the fact that you're playing in a town that has got a very proud community and history of football?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, Rick. A mate of mine, Mark Stone, and I did a trip around Tasmania about 10 months ago, and we pulled up at Blue Gum Park and had a look and gone, gee, we're at the MCG. It was an amazing surface, and obviously I'm aware of the football history on the northeast part of Tasmania and how proud they are and how much they love their football. And as you know, over the journey, we've taken the game to Dole Park Penguin, Huonville, played at UTAS once, and also a number of times at North Hobart. So it's about taking the game to the people, and it's their opportunity, and we're looking forward to it.
It'll be fantastic. And for those that are not aware, tell us a little bit about the history, obviously in terms of some of the great names of football and some great personalities that are playing not only for Tassie and but for Victoria. But for those who may not aware, just take us through the journey of why you started this.
Yeah, no worries. So back in 2012, a little mate of mine suffered from a rare illness, muscular dystrophy, and we wanted to raise the awareness of that charity, but also try and raise some dollars for the program. And we kicked off in 2012 at North Hobart, and lucky enough, we had guys like Dermot Brett and Michael O'Loughlin play in the early days. And from there, it sort of rubber stamped that the game was worthy of being on the calendar. And then we went forward and had the likes of Peter Hudson involved as coach. We've been lucky enough to have guys like Tony Modra, Gavin Wanganeen playing the game over the journey. And then it just grows from there. And this year, also, the game was based on the 1990 State of Origin game where, obviously, you're aware, Rick, Tasmania played the Big V at North Hobart Oval, and we won by about 5 goals that day.
Yeah, it was a great day.
It was a Tasmanian team versus an All-Star. It's a Tasmanian team versus a Victorian All-Star side, so that encompasses guys from all over Australia. It's
a lot to look forward to if we now fast forward to our 11th edition, because tell us about some of the names you've got coming, because you've got a lot of regulars who've been a part of this and supported this event for a long, long time. But tell us some of the great names that are going to be gracing the surface of Blue Gum Park on the 5th.
Yeah, no worries. So obviously for the All-Stars team, we've got guys like Brendan Vivola. He's back for his eighth appearance. Michael Riscatelli, obviously a former Best and Fairest winner of the Brisbane Lions. Darryl White, who's a 3-time premiership player with Brisbane. New faces include Brett Kirk, the captain of Sydney and obviously the 05 premiership side. Jared Waite, who played with Carlton North Melbourne. Nick Daffy, who was a fan favourite with Richmond back in the 90s. An interesting character, Mad Jack Daw, obviously played with North Melbourne and spent some time on Melbourne's list, but he'll be a welcome addition. James Patterson, the cricketer that played for Australia. And so made some wonderful faces there and some good local boys. And with the Tasmanian team, with regular faces as like Paul Hudson, Simon Atkins, new player this year, Mav Weller, who's obviously back on the northwest coast, Brodie Holland, Adrian Fletcher, Michael Gale, and we've got a big core group of guys from Launceston area too. Adam Derbyshire making his debut, Mitch Hills, the former Premier, Peter Gutwin, is back for another game. He kicked 2 or 3 goals last year and really loved it.
Not many people fitter than him either.
Oh, you're not wrong, and they don't want to try and build him because he'll sort them out. Gary Shipton, Luke Crane, obviously a Georgetown boy, which is fantastic, and spent some time obviously in Queensland and South Australia. Simon Taylor, a Campbelltown boy, obviously went on to play with Hawthorn, and another guy from Georgetown, which will sort of match up with James Pattinson, is Xavier Doherty.
Xavier Doherty, the X-Man. Fantastic. Hey, I've got a challenge for you for next year. It's just come to my head. We go, and now that he's becoming the CEO of our Tasmanian AFL team, surely he'll want to play with his brother, wouldn't he, one day, Brendan Gale?
Well, Mate, I thought we'd get him last year because last year we had a reunion in Hobart on the Friday night prior to the game for the 1990 team. They'd never caught up. So 33 years later, Brendan happened to be in the room and happened to be at the game. And I'm aware that I believe he's sneaking down to watch this game. So, yeah, hopefully. It'd be nice to have him involved. And it's pretty amazing, isn't it, that we've got probably 5 or 6 guys from that team still running around today.
Look, it's a great thing that you do. And just finally, just tell us a little bit about the charity once again in terms of how people can support the event. They can obviously go to Relive the Rivalry Facebook page, but just bring us up to speed.
Yeah, so it's Food Bank Tasmania. We got involved last year. They have a breakfast in schools program that they support 2,500 kids daily statewide that don't get a meal. And when I heard that story, I couldn't comprehend. And the other concern for me was what do they actually do for breakfast in the lengthy school holiday. So we jumped on board there, and fortunate enough, the money we raised last year provided 80,000 meals for those kids statewide. So
brilliant.
Yeah, it was really nice to be involved. So they're a great charity. They do some wonderful work, and I'm aware there's other breakfast in schools programs statewide, but they do a wonderful job, and we're very privileged to be involved and proud to be involved with those guys.
You should be proud of yourself too, Wigo. It's a great thing that you do each and every year, and certainly helping Tasmanians as well. So Blue Gum Park, Saturday the 5th of October, 1:30 p.m. And there's a bit of footy beforehand too, I believe.
Yeah, there's some junior footy. So the Georgetown lads are running around. They've organised that thanks to Lynette out there, which is great. It's like for the ones that haven't been involved before, we have music between the goals kicked and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a BBL theme as well. You can go out and get your autographs or photos with the guys during the breaks and bits and pieces. So it's just a great day for a great cause, and hopefully people support it.
Fantastic. Well done, Wigo. Good to catch up with you. We wish you well, mate, and it should be a great day, and we'll put some more details up on the socials. But thanks for joining us on the Footy Show this week.
Thank you very much. And as I say, thanks for the opportunity to promote it, Rick. You do a great job.
Pleasure. Good on you. James Wiggins, founder of Relive the Rivalry, joining us here on the show. All right, before we finish for the year, we're going to tell you a bit more about what's happening in other footy around Tasmania. In the TSL, it is preliminary final day coming up this Saturday. That is at Bluntstone Arena, 1:30, and it is going to be Clarence taking on Lauderdale. And the winner will, of course, face North Launceston next Saturday at UTAS Stadium in what is going to be the last ever Tasmanian State League Grand Final. So that should be a beauty down at Bluntstone Arena. The NWFL, well, they're at preliminary final stage, and there's the details of the games coming up on the screen. It gets underway with the Colts at 10:10, Burnie taking on Latrobe. Wynyard face Penguin in the Development League, and then at 2 o'clock it is Wynyard taking on the Burnie Dockers. This is at Girdleston Park. How good's that? Girdleston Park at East Devonport will be hosting the preliminary finals on Saturday. And the winner, well, they are going to take on Devonport in the grand final. That is at the beautiful Latrobe Football Ground next Saturday afternoon. It's SFL Grand Final Day this weekend as well on Saturday at North Hobart Oval. And there are the combatants on your screen there for the seniors. That is going to be a ripper as well, with Signet taking on Lindisfarne at 2 o'clock. Should be an absolutely cracking day at North Hobart Oval. Here's a list of the games that are coming up on Saturday, the schedule for SFL Grand Final Day. And it all gets underway with the Colts Grand Final at 10 a.m. And that will feature Huonville taking on the Southern Storm. That is at 10 a.m. at North Hobart. That'll be followed at 12 p.m. in the Reserves. The Reserves Grand Final, Brighton are going to be taking on Sorrel. And then, as we mentioned, the Senior Grand Final should be a beauty. We featured Signet on the show last week. They are going to take on Lindisfarne, 2 p.m. this Saturday. Head on down there. Should be an absolutely fabulous day at North Hobart Oval. And finally, just a bit of a plug for what's coming up over the next few weeks as well, because the North Melbourne AFLW team are going to be in Tassie. They are absolutely flying at the moment. 2 games coming up on Sunday, the 29th of September, the day after AFL Grand Final Day. It's not till 1:05, so if you're hungover, you can head on down to UTAS Stadium and see what will be a terrific day. And then at North Hobart Oval on Sunday, the 13th of September, they take on Sydney. And there's a couple of great Tasmanian faces, Mia King and Nicole Bresnahan, very important players in the North Melbourne AFLW team. North Melbourne currently 4th on the ladder, and 1 win and a draw, which was last week against Geelong. So a couple of dates there for your diary. All right, that pretty much does us, not only for today, but for the season. So again, a huge thank you to all of you that have supported our show. Our audience numbers have grown enormously in season 2024. And a big thanks, of course, to all of our amazing partners, in particular DLM Machinery and our segment partners in Harrison Agents, HST Tree Services, Cleanaway and Little Rivers Brewing Company. Thanks for being a part of us. Keep the stories coming in, and we've got some exciting new developments happening with the show as we evolve in 2025 as well. Enjoy your footy weekend and the last couple of weeks of the season, and we look forward to seeing you all again in the new year for what's going to be a massive year as footy changes as well.